Do you and your partner keep having the same fight over and over again? Even when the topic changes, you somehow end up in the exact same place. Same frustration, same reaction, same outcome. And you're left thinking, how did we end up here again? Most relationship advice misses the real problem because almost everyone says the same thing. You just need to communicate more, talk more, explain yourself better, use the right words, say it calmly. And couples try that. They sit down, they talk, they make an effort, and somehow nothing changes. Same fight, same distance, same feeling of being completely unheard. So, what if communicating more is actually making it worse? In this video, I want to show you what's really breaking down when couples can get through to each other. And it has a lot of less to do with how well you express yourself and a lot of more to do with what's happening underneath the words. Once you start to see the pattern, you begin to understand why the same fight keeps coming back. I want to tell you about a couple I work with. They have been together for 7 years. They had two kids. And by every external measure, they look like a solid relationship. But they kept ending up in the same place. She would bring something up, a concern, a feeling, something that mattered to her, and he would try to respond, explain his side, offer a solution, but somehow, every single time she ended up feeling more alone than before the conversation started. And he ended up feeling like nothing he did was ever enough. They weren't bad communicators, they weren't a bad match, they were caught in a pattern. And the moment we found the real pattern, everything shifted. Here is what most couples don't realize about communication. By the time the words are coming out of your mouth, the body is already leading the conversation. Because communication doesn't break down first at the level of language, it breaks down at the level of nervous system. There's a researcher named John Gottman who spent decades studying couples, thousands of them, real conversation, real conflict. One of the things he found is that when conflict starts, heart rate can spike quickly. And once your body gets to that certain point of activation, your ability to really listen, empathize, and take it what your partner is saying drops fast. He called it flooding. And flooding is basically that moment where you stop hearing your partner and start defending yourself from them. Not because you're trying to be difficult, not because you don't care, but because your system has decided something is off. Something feels threatening. So now you're not in a conversation anymore. You are in protection mode. And once that happens, it doesn't matter how carefully you choose your words. It doesn't matter how clearly you explain yourself. If your nervous system thinks you're under attack, the message won't land. And here's the part that makes this even harder. Your partner is usually doing the exact same thing at the exact same time. So now you have two people, both flooded, both feeling misunderstood, both convinced that other person isn't listening. Neither one is fully wrong. Neither one is really hearing the other. And that's how the same fight starts repeating itself. Because once this happens a few times, it stops feeling like one conflict and starts becoming a relationship pattern. One partner leans in, the other partner pulls away. The more one person pushes to be heard, the more the other person shuts down. And the more the other partner shuts down, the harder the person pushes. Round and around. This is what people often call the pursue withdraw cycle. And it's one of the most common patterns in relationships. One person is pursuing connection, the other one is trying to create space. But from the inside, neither person experiences it that way. The pursuing partner usually feels like, I just want us to talk. I'm trying to fix this. I'm trying to get closer. The withdrawing partner usually feels like, this is too much. I can't think when I'm being pressured. I need a second to breathe. And both of them end up feeling like the other person is the problem. But often, what's really is happening that both nervous systems are trying to do exactly what they think is safest. That's why talking more often makes it worse. More words don't necessarily create more safety. Sometimes they create more pressure, and pressure doesn't calm a nervous system, it activates it. This is where a lot of couples get stuck. They assume the issue is that they are not saying the right thing. So they say more, they explain more, they try harder to be understood. But all that usually intensifies the cycle. What feels like trying harder to one person can feel like too much to the other, and then the distance grows. So, what's actually going on beneath all of that? At the deepest level, a lot of these fights are not really about the topic itself. They're about what the topic means. One person says something small, and the other person thinks it as, you don't matter, I'm not important, you're alone in this. That's why arguments can get so intense so fast, because people aren't just reacting to what was said, they are reacting to what they think it says about the relationship. And once that meaning kicks in, the conversation changes completely. You are no longer talking about dishes, money, parenting, time, sex, or plans. You are talking about whatever you can trust each other, whatever you matter to each other, whatever you're safe with each other. That is the real conversation. And when couples don't realize that, they keep trying to solve the wrong problem. They keep focusing on wording, timing, tone, logic. But the deeper issue is whatever both people feel safe enough to stay open, because emotional safety changes everything. When someone feels safe with you, they can hear you differently. The same sentence that felt sharp a minute ago can suddenly feel like understandable. The same topic that used to spiral can become manageable. That doesn't mean the problem disappears. It means the relationship has enough steadiness for the problem to actually be discussed. And that's the difference. So instead of asking, how do I explain this better? The better question is, do we both feel safe enough to actually hear each other right now? That question gets to the real issue, not just the argument, not just the words. And once you start paying attention to that, you will notice something important. A lot of relationship conflict is not about stubbornness, it's not about one person being selfish, it's not about someone not caring enough. It's about two people getting pulled into a pattern they don't know how to interrupt yet. That's why couples can feel so discouraged, because they are trying hard, they're having the conversations, they're making the effort, and still the same thing keeps happening. But if you can see the pattern, you can start to change it. Not instantly, not perfectly, but enough to create different outcome. That's what I want you to take from this video. You're not failing at communication. You are probably trying to solve a safety problem, like it's a wording problem. And once you start treating it that way, everything changes. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to catch the moment right before the spiral starts and what to do in real time so the conversation doesn't take over. Because once you can interrupt the pattern as it's happening, you will have a lot of more influence over your relationship than you may think.